I think it's understanding, how consumer tastes and preferences are evolving and being able to meet customer needs. And that's the benefit of the distribution platform is that, we have the flexibility to uh, push different levers as we continue to grow and as preferences change. And really, we have an offering that meets all those needs. And I think that's really what's the driver of our growth.
My next guest is Shawn Dim. He's the founder and chairman of Humble and Fume. Trades on the TSE under the symbol HMBL. Shawn, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You bet, Shawn. So you're formerly a board member with Afria, one of the earliest companies in the whole ACMPR game. What can you tell me about your new venture with Humble and Fume?
Yeah, Humble and Fume is not really a new venture for us at Greenacre Capital. It's been a portfolio company since 2017.
Oh,
At the time, it was a provider and a distributor of hardware and accessories in the cannabis space, only to smoke shops, and we've subsequently expanded that to include dispensaries in Canada and looking at the same opportunities for distribution of cannabis products in the United States.
so you're not in the retail side, you're a wholesaler.
Correct. We distribute primarily products manufactured by third parties, both cannabis and accessories. And here in Canada, we do have our own line of concentrate products, both vape products and solventless rosins that we do make ourselves in partnership with a licensed producer, 48 North.
So you're what we would refer to as an asset light operation then.
Correct.
So what was the compelling logic for your company to be configured like this?
Yeah, so in terms of the go public transaction, it really was a focus on just having meaningful opportunity to grow the business in the United States. At the time of our initial investment at Greenacre Capital, the business was doing 17 million in trailing 12 month sales. Last year, we reported sales of $61 million, and we've been growing at over 50% during calendar 2021. So if do the math, tracking to somewhere around 100 million in sales in calendar 2021. And so we see tremendous growth opportunity in the United States. That United States now represents over 50% of our revenues, and we see opportunity in US THC distribution that will ultimately need greater amounts of capital. And so the reason for the go public transaction was to leverage capital markets to dramatically accelerate our growth.
So this is first and foremost a brand play.
Correct. I think it's being able to provide sales execution to support predominantly external brands, but also our in-house brands.
It's funny, Shawn, with the absolute lack of profitability in the cannabis sector, both in the United States and Canada, I like this approach. It seems like it's a smart approach. How do you attract retailers to pick your brands over other brands?
Yeah, I think what we offer retailers is, what I'd call closer to a one-stop shop for providing all their needs for what they're selling. So whether that started with accessories and now we have a broad portfolio of cannabis products. If you look at the Canadian market today, there's over 10,000 SKUs. I think approximately 750 licensed producers that are able to offer products. And if you put yourself in the minds of a retailer, they certainly don't have the time that they could afford to understand all the different products that are available. If you look at Ontario through the OCS, there'd be thousands of SKUs. And so what we do is provide them the opportunity to understand the portfolio that we carry and simplify the purchasing process for those stores and drive value through same-store sales inside of those stores.
Your growth rate is extraordinary as well. What is it about this whole approach that allows such rapid and consistent growth?
Yeah, I think there's a combination of factors. One, we've just experienced tremendous growth in the cannabis industry, which I think will continue certainly for the next decade and beyond. And I think our understanding, I've been involved in the cannabis industry for the last 8 years, as you mentioned previously, a board member of Afria. And I think it's understanding, how consumer tastes and preferences are evolving and being able to meet customer needs. And that's the benefit of the distribution platform, is that we have the flexibility to uh, push different levers as we continue to grow and as preferences change. And really, we have an offering that meets all those needs. And I think that's really what's the driver of our growth.
Within the various categories of cannabis products under your umbrella, which do you see as having the brightest future?
I think the brightest future really sits around cannabis distribution. I think it's not a well understood area of the industry. If you look at alcohol as an example, the alcohol industry, roughly 10% of all sales are driven by distributors. And so, really, what that does is that provides the opportunity to place products in the hands of retailers. In the cannabis market, we see in the US, as an example, currently it's about a $20 billion industry. We believe that'll ultimately grow to $100 billion. So, it's greater than 5x growth. And when we look at the distribution side today, it sits at around sub $1 billion industry. And we think ultimately that'll be 10 to $15 billion. So I think there's 10 to 15x growth, which, very, very hard to find that in any industry. But with the rapid onset of legalization and the embedded demand in the industry, we think that's ultimately the growth driver.
So the United States markets are all fractured. There's no interstate commerce. Does that mean that you have to source the cannabis products that you distribute into the retail networks in each individual state? Does the cannabis have to be sourced from within each individual state as well?
Yes, it's definitely a market by market approach. We're starting to see licensing opportunities. So products, as an example, that work in California are now being licensed to operators in other markets and being able to leverage brand awareness to drive sales and adoption of products that seem to resonate with consumers.
And is your focus exclusively recreational products, or is there a medical component to that as well?
There is, from an accessories perspective, there's definitely a medical aspect to the opportunity, but it's our belief that adult use or recreational is certainly by far the biggest opportunity.
Okay, so dried flower has been the mainstay of product sales across any retailer in the cannabis space. Are there any products in the Humble and Fume sort of universe or anywhere in the cannabis universe that you see coming that might displace dried flower as the number one selling product?
I don't know what the future holds, but it's my belief that dried flower will continue to be the largest category by market share. If you look at what happened during the pandemic, we saw pre-rolls decline in market share and products like edibles uh, increasing share. That's since sort of settled back to levels pre-pandemic.
Hmm.
But there's definitely, it's a new industry. There's tremendous opportunity for product innovation. And so there's a possibility that we'll see changes to market share by category. And what's valuable about our platform is, as those changes, our product portfolio is so diverse that we cover all the different categories. So if one shifts to the other, we're able to capture those gains and still continue to grow.
So, across the whole cannabis universe, especially in Canada, THC and CBD is not really well differentiated or understood as a product. In fact, I can't find really great CBD products as a daily CBD user in any retail environment in Canada. Is there a point in the future where CBD is going to be able to be marketed as its sort of therapeutic, non-psychotropic, non-recreational, otherworldly product that it kind of is?
Yeah, so we already do distribute CBD offerings in both Canada and the US. The US is far more open in terms of uh, retailers that are available to carry it. In Canada, it sits under the Cannabis Act, so it's only being able to be offered in dispensaries. And so I ultimately think that will change and it will be available on pharmacy shelves. And I think when that happens, it will certainly drive greater demand, as you're missing a portion of the customer base who may not be inclined to go into a dispensary for needs that are probably wellness or medical focused and unrelated to typical adult use or THC consumption experience.
That's a great introduction to the company. It sounds like you're really making progress there. We'll leave it there for now. Thank you very much for your time today.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you very much for your time.
You bet.
Take
Bye
care.
for now.